Sorry, I forgot how to stop the music. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning, Leslie, and good morning to everyone.
Yes, on this beautiful sunny fall day, I love being here. Before everyone gets here, because it always takes a little bit of time, I thought I wanted to share. There were some amazing, fabulous quotes that people put in the comments in the days before this event got started. And I picked out two to share. They were all great. So I randomly picked two. And then I want to get Melissa's feedback on them. So the first one is Lynn Hallbrooks. She wrote, "You never know what treasures will reveal themselves when you network."
Love.
Did that one resonate with you as much as it did with me?
Oh my gosh, you know it did. I mean, that is everything. That is the absolute truth. I could not agree more.
Oh, and I have one more. This is from someone you know well, who you met in person not too long ago.
Ah,
And,
yes.
and I'm going to read the full quote. I didn't have room for it all. So it's from Renee Cohen. And the full quote is, "Best relationships are those that blend both business and social elements. It makes the experience so much richer."
Oh, I love that too. And yes, I did just meet Renee when we were on a retreat together because we live very far apart. She is in California, and obviously I'm in New York. So it was wonderful to meet her in person.
I love that. I love that. So now we will go. Let's see who's here because I see quite a few comments already. So I'm going to pull them up.
The comments are working in real time for once. This is amazing.
I know. I love it. So, Deborah, good morning. It's so good to see you. And then I'm going to assume, and she can answer us, I think this might be Anne Elliott,
Oh,
which means that the setting that I told her about didn't work. So whoever LinkedIn user is, please let us know
we
if
have a
that is Anne
couple.
Elliott.
We have a couple that I see that are coming up as LinkedIn user for me anyway.
Oh, hello, Scott. Oh, you always make me smile
Anne
or
is
laugh.
Anne is showing up as Anne. I see her.
Oh, so then the LinkedIn user is somebody else.
Yes.
Oh, hello, Ari. It's so good to see you.
I met Ari in person too in Fort Worth.
Oh my God, you met everybody down in Fort Worth. Oh, and here's Evan from across the river. You are one of my favorites as well. I'm so glad you're here.
That is so nice. Thank you.
And someone who I haven't yet met in person, but you did, right?
Yes, of
Yes.
Fort Worth.
Hello,
Absolutely.
G. We've got a lot of people to say hello to. Let's see. I'm going to say Thornevald. I hope I got that right. Good
Good
morning, and we're
morning.
so glad you're here. Welcome. And we'll get in a few more comments, and then we'll get started. Yes. Didn't it? Lynn's quote was a Hallmark card, and I'm going to have to write her a note about that. And I love your Hallmark card. You're absolutely right, Scott. Treasures for sure. Yes, we do have quite a few LinkedIn users. Oh, and Brian, I'm so glad you're here. I know you're safe, and I thank you for joining us. We've DM'd a little bit in the last few days, so it's great to see you again. Oh, and Lisa Marie, someone I met on Gabe's lunch music hour kind of thing last week. So nice to see you. Hello, Ruth Ann. So I think we have a few more. Oh, Ann Elliott is showing up. So you were not the LinkedIn user. Hello, Wendy. And you got to meet. Uh, I am definitely experiencing like the missing out part
You have to come next
because
year.
so many, so many people I would love to meet in person. Melissa already met. Hello, Anne, and you're showing up. So great.
One of our LinkedIn users is our friend Lincoln Brown. He put his name in
Oh,
the comments. So we've identified at least one of our LinkedIn users.
hello, Jean. It's so good to see you. And you know what? If Lincoln Brown is not showing up, his name, it just shows you that this setting just sometimes changes because he used to show up in our lives. Okay, I'm going to let's get started. It's 10:06 and we'll keep on saying, obviously, we could spend half an hour saying hello and just talking back and forth. So, thank you everyone for joining us. Welcome to our new viewers, welcome to our returning viewers, and welcome to those who are watching this on the replay, which some do. So, this is Let's Talk About It Careers, Business, and LinkedIn. And this is episode 13, Networking. Build relationships, not just contacts. So, we want to start with introducing ourselves. And I'm going to ask Melissa. I didn't even check with her before we started. Do you have that nice monster big mug?
Oh yeah, I've been using it.
Yes. Oh, yay.
The biggest coffee mug on the planet. Absolutely.
And, and please go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I'll introduce myself.
Yeah, I am Melissa Cohen. I am here in beautiful New York City along with Leslie, and she's correct. It is a gorgeous sunny fall day. I am super happy to see all of you here this morning. I am a personal branding and LinkedIn coach because my goal is for everyone to love LinkedIn as much as I do.
Yay. And here I am, Leslie Nydick. My little mug says it all. Conflict happens. And that's why I do what I do. I help people get unstuck from conflict. I share tips about negotiation, communication, and of course, conflict is a part of that. And besides LinkedIn, you can also find me on YouTube and Instagram, and you can find Melissa there too. You can look me up with The Conflict Strategist. I'm having a lot of fun on Instagram, and I know Melissa just got started there too. So it's our love is LinkedIn, but sometimes you've got to go somewhere else and just have some fun.
Yeah, totally.
So before we get started, I want to make one announcement. If you're in the New York area, and if you're available on Tuesday, please join Melissa and her co-author, Cindy Goodwin-Sak. They're doing a fireside chat about that new book that I showed you last time. It's Your Career Resilience Blueprint. I'm telling you, if you read this book or if you've even glanced at it, it really covers it's for all of us, whether you're just starting in your career or you've been in your career for a while or you're getting started on your own. The event link, we're going to put it in the comments for this event as soon as we're done. Or you could also go to Melissa's profile and just scroll to look at her post from yesterday about it, and you'll get the event link. It's a great event. And Melissa could tell me, I think it starts at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Is that correct?
6 p.m.
6
It runs
p.m.
from 6 to 9. Exactly. Leslie, you're hired. You're my new PR agent. Thank you.
Good. I needed it. I'll do another pivot after reading your book. I know I can. So now let me just switch to the banners, and this isn't the full question. So, you know what? Skip that a second. Sorry. I skipped ahead. We have a question for the audience, and we want your input. And I'm going to need Melissa's too, because I did not tell her the answer to this one. So the question is, what percentage of professionals believe networking is essential for career success? So, Melissa, what's your best guess?
I mean, it should be 100, but let's say 85.
I'll let you know after we see some of the guesses, but Your first statement was exactly my thought. It should be 100 or 99%. I could see some people
There's always that
debating twice.
one.
Yes. And let me see, we have quite a few people to say hello to, and I'm just looking for what did Scott said 80% do it, only 20% actually do it. Ooh, that's interesting. And then this must be Lincoln Brown, maybe. You could let me know if I'm right. 60%. Oh, so this is interesting. We have a wide range. Agree. Hi, Blue. Thanks for being here. Agree. It should be 100. It should be.
Okay.
I don't care what job you're in.
Great minds. Dr. Kimberly and I, we
Yes,
agree.
yes. 85% say it's essential because I guess there are plenty who are like, no, don't need to do it. Let me see if we get a few more. Say a lot of us agree. Sia, welcome, Sia. Should be 100%, but as many connections as we can make. Follow through and depth of connection matters. Love that statement. I forgot the question already. Love it, Sia. So, not to keep you all guessing, it was 80%, and that was based on quite a few surveys and studies. And that's why I used this stat because it surprised me. I really thought it would be higher. Um, and I frankly thought it would be 100%, even if they don't do it. And that comes to my next point. I want to share a stat. So here's another interesting one from HubSpot, and then we'll really get started. 41% of professionals want to know more. I should have added more, and they don't have time to do it. So I find that interesting. And that's why I'm so glad so many people are here because you're taking the time to network. And we really are going to be networking in the comments, and I'll talk about that tip later. So let's talk about networking. So, Melissa, and this is where I'll pull up the banner in a moment. So, how has networking been essential and enjoyable for you, while some still think of it as work and a necessary evil? What are your thoughts?
There's so much negative connotation to the word networking, right? I almost wish we could replace it with a different word. And I gave this a lot of thought before we started today because I was trying to figure out why that is. Like, why, when you say the word networking, do so many people have an instant, kind of cringe reaction? And I think because networking can feel transactional, right? It can feel very inauthentic. And I think we see that in some of the really great comments that I've been seeing come in already. It has to be intentional and it has to be thoughtful. You have to really follow up on those relationships, right? If you just go to a networking event, and how much do we all love that term, and collect a bunch of business cards or scan a bunch of QR codes and then never follow through with anything, you probably haven't accomplished very much and you probably don't feel really good about the experience. And if you only network when you need something, that's probably the worst thing that you can do, right? I think we've all been on the receiving end of, someone reaching out to you who you haven't had a conversation with in 5 years. They're looking for a job or they're looking for something and they're asking you for your help. And that just doesn't feel good, right? It feels really transactional. And so for me, the way networking has been essential and successful is I don't look at it as something that I do when I need something. I don't look at it as something that is a chore. I look at it as, who am I going to meet today? How can I expand my circle? Who else can I introduce other people to, right? I love connecting people. It brings me so much personal satisfaction and joy. I have my post out today, right, as my Friday Nugget post. And I love seeing people having conversations in that comment section. And on our event today that's happening already, and it's going to happen even more when you and I get into the comments. And that's why networking is a joy to me, right? Because it's not just about me. Sometimes it is, of course. Everybody needs something out of people that they know, but it shouldn't be transactional. It should be reciprocal, and it shouldn't be reciprocal, with a line item count, right?
No. Yep. You really hit it when you mentioned that like phone call that might come every 5 years.
Yeah.
There are like some people that phone rings, I see the name, I go, I wonder what happened this time that
What
they're
do they
like either leaving their job or they lost it. They only call for that. And yet I still like them, but each time I give more and more, it's still only, why don't you call me after you get that new job and tell me how it's going and tell me what you're doing during it instead of waiting like, oh, I'll only call her when I need a job. And that's why I think when I used to hear the word networking earlier in my career, I thought it was work. I was also terrified of doing it.
Yeah.
And then when I changed my mindset to some of the things you're describing, Melissa, like it's about meeting interesting people, people I admire, people I like, people who might be doing something that I'm interested in, or people who are doing stuff I would never think of doing. Just being curious about other people, learning, liking, enjoying the conversation. When I realized that was networking, then my network really started to grow. And I used to say that to people, I hate calling it networking
Yeah.
because it sounds like work. And over time, I really started to understand the value. And there was one particular job I was on where my manager told me that one of my greatest assets is my network. And I just looked at her like, oh, okay. I didn't even realize you considered it something. Because she was always like, remember, you go to those networking meetings on Wednesday and Thursday mornings. I don't mind you coming in late. And this is what she told me. She said, when she doesn't know how to do something, she always calls me first. And it's not because she knows that I know how to do it. I might, but she knows that I will know someone who might know someone else who knows someone who knows how to do what we need or we can hire, that kind of thing. And I said, oh, and it just finally clicked like, wow, I'm not just out having fun. I'm really getting to know people and then connecting people. And it just, the value is there. And I can't imagine not spending time. And, look at us, like we met through networking, through LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yep.
So we definitely have lots of comments. So I want to go into them before we go to our next question. So, well, let's stick this up there. Heather Powers, thank you for saying it. I know she's talking about Melissa's book, Wish You Could Get to New York City. And Scott was saying, oh, I like being a wing woman or a wingman. That's okay. Thank you, Scott. Oh, there's networking going on here. I love it.
Love it.
So I can't wait to get in the comments. Jeannie, I'm glad you're networking with Sandra. Oh, yes, to personal branding. So I'm just going through all of them to see what you're all saying. I probably am.
Of course, Evan. Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
I love that. You're going to meet Evan in person on Tuesday. So I'm going to skip ahead. Who's here? So here's Sandra. Yep, they're in Cape. Great to see you, Sandra. I'm glad you're here. So I'm skipping to see what people are saying. Here's Ruth Ann. I think it's on the lower end. Oh, this is back to the 80% until they're job searching. And Ruth Ann, we agree with you because based on that's that transactional side of networking when it's only about job searching.
Okay, I don't know if you're going to find this one, Leslie. So I just have to call this out. This is
please.
This is hilarious. So Evan is talking about the dreaded pitch slap, right? Which is a terrible part of networking. It's actually not networking at all. And so He says he needs a pitched stop. I love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Uh, and hello, Karen. It's great to see you. And I assume you're talking about the people that call us only when they need a job.
Yes.
And I love what Kimberly said, very clear. I network to learn from others. In networking and life, I'm all about quality over quantity, depth. I think that, and Sia first said that word, Anne's now saying that word. I think that's what it is. It's the depth of the relationship. If it stays on the surface, eh, it's okay. And Karen was pointing out, you never know who knows who and who knows who, and do that whole 6 or 10 degrees of separation. And Blue gave a heart to something one of us said or commented. I love it. And here's a good point. So Michelle said, I'm fairly new to LinkedIn. I'm learning that this platform has more connection collectors and pitch
Mhm.
slappers versus individuals truly seeking to build authentic collaborative relationships and partnerships.
I'm
So
gonna
true.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree. I think seek out the right people. I think
Yes.
there's plenty of those pitch slappers, and I'm gonna say seek out the right people. It might take a little bit of curating your feed, but I mean, from my heart, I have met some of the most incredible people on this platform, including Leslie. Leslie is my dear friend, and we met on LinkedIn. And there are so many people that I've met on this platform. So I agree with you. There is a lot of noise and fluff that you need to kind of cut through, but give it a moment or two. I promise you, you will find good people.
And you're reminding me of something I say when it comes to like conflict, like believe. There is the negative, and that's why I said, yes, there are a
Oh,
lot of
of
the pitch
course.
slappers, but believe the positive,
Yeah.
that the good ones are here. I mean, there's over 1 billion people here. And if you dig for it and manage your feed, like Melissa said, definitely follow her tips about how to manage feed and send DMs to people and have conversations with them, because then you'll only be surrounded by the non-pitch slappers because you'll be curating it. And it's really important to do that.
I love Karen. It's like dating. You got to weed out the bad ones. Yeah.
That's a good one. So I now want to move on to our next question from Melissa. What are 2 of your best tips about
Mm.
networking that you can share with the audience?
Oh my goodness. So one, I'm going to pick up on something you just said a moment ago, Leslie, which is be curious about people, right? Ask questions. Don't make it all about you. I think sometimes one of the reasons we get so anxious about networking is we think we have to talk about ourselves. Um, People love to tell you about them. People love to share their story, right? So ask questions, be curious. Don't immediately make it about who you are, what you need, what you're looking for. Ask a lot of questions. Um, Another tip is something that, so we were referencing Fort Worth, right? And I was at a business summit last month in Fort Worth, and Donnie Bovin was hosting it. And he shared an interesting tip, which is, there's always people in the center of any room when you're networking, right? There's these groups and clusters. Check out the perimeter of the room. Check out who's kind of hanging back and maybe against the wall and maybe looks a little uncomfortable. First of all, it's a kindness, right? Because we've all been that quote unquote wallflower, right? We've all been that person who's been a little intimidated, a little scared. And so they're going to be very grateful for somebody to come and start a conversation with them. But also because these are people that you can kind of, bring out of themselves and get them into the conversation with you and hopefully with other people too. So I would say ask a lot of questions, be genuinely curious, and look for people on the perimeter.
I love that tip. It's something I do because I was on the perimeter, so now I feel like I have to go help everyone on the perimeter. Fantastic
Yeah.
tip. So my first tip is to remember to use multiple channels of communication to build the relationship. So here, like on LinkedIn, it might start with a comment. Then there are more comments going back and forth. Perhaps it moves to a DM. Maybe there's a phone call. If possible, maybe it is in-person meetup. And I might be describing me and Melissa because it kind of went in that order. But you know what? When you mix it up, you don't have to keep it in the same order, go back and forth. It builds the layers of the relationship because if it's only one dimensional, it might be nice, but it might feel more like that connection count. You have to make it go deeper, like everyone said, depth matters. Now, my second tip is something I want you to do as soon as this event ends. Now, some of you may know about it, but the more I've been telling people about this, I'm finding out how many people don't know about it. So I'm going to actually show you something on the phone. So first, I want you to find the event like post for this event and or for any live stream you've gone to recently. And I'm going to show you here there, when you look on it where it says like that attend button that you can click, right below it, there are three tabs. The default is always the comments. I want you to click on the one next to it, the networking. You will then see everyone who registered for the event. You also can contact people within that tab and send them messages even if you're not connected to them. So let's say today you might have not commented in the comments, but you saw someone's comment that was interesting or resonated with you. Send them a DM through that tab and just have a conversation. It might go somewhere, it might not. Um, Maybe someone's headline like intrigued you. Send them a message. So when this event is over, pick 3 to 5 people and go contact them within that networking tab. It's a great feature and it enables you to send messages to people you're not yet connected with. So I'll be doing that later as well because there are people here that I'm not connected with. And now I can send them a message because every event and every networking live event allows you to do that. So now, of course, don't pitch slap because I don't want to be the source of that. Oh my God, there's so many comments I didn't see. So Melissa and I always go back into the event to comment. So I'm just going to randomly see what people are saying. And I'm just going to pick out what I see. Oh, Michelle. So I love that there's definitely conversations going back and forth between people. Oh, and Janice is here. I know. I'm so sorry about your loss. I can't believe you're, here. And Claudia, yes, a pitch stop will become a thing. I love that. Absolutely. And we'll all say it started here on this live stream.
That's right.
And Melissa, if there were any comments you saw, let me know. I'm trying to click through to see. Oh, Tiffany's here. How exactly did you seek out the right people? Oh, Melissa, and I don't know if it was me who said something or Melissa. Do you have a response to that?
I think it was probably me when I was talking about, kind of curating your feed and seeking out the right people. You know, read posts, read people's content. Does what they're saying resonate with you? Does it feel like somebody that seems like they're aligned with your values, they're aligned with your interests, they say things that resonate with you? Connect with them, have a conversation with them. If you see posts in your feed that really are not aligned with your values or don't interest you, you can click that little X in the corner. And that sends a message to LinkedIn that you don't want to see that content. And it'll then ask you why. Was it the content of the post? Was it an inappropriate post? Or is that just a person you don't want to see in your feed anymore? And that's a great way to curate your feed and start to see people whose content really resonates with you. I would say, selfishly, check out the people who attended this event. Just like Leslie was saying, I'm gonna, just I'm biased, but I'm gonna say we get some of the most amazing people attending our events. I am so grateful, but this community is outstanding. So I would say if you want a good place to start, do exactly what Leslie said. Go to that networking tab and see who is here. Look at their profiles. Who's interesting to you? Reach out. You have the perfect opener for a DM. If you're able to send personalized connection requests, hey, I saw you commenting on Leslie and Melissa's LinkedIn Live. I'd love to connect. Or reference a comment that they made. Perfect.
Perfect way to close out the fastest
No.
half hour on
Oh my
LinkedIn, as
goodness.
usual. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you to the audience for your fabulous comments. I can't wait to get in there and see all the conversations.
Too.
Our next event, November 22nd, so save the date. And thank you, Melissa.
Thank you. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, everyone. This was a phenomenal conversation. I cannot wait to start replying to everyone's comments.
Bye-bye.
Bye.